Hey guys, so today I'm gonna make spaghetti sauce, my homemade spaghetti sauce to can. I only have enough to make one batch. Tomatoes got hit really hard around our area, so that's all. I bought all the canning tomatoes they had left, and it was enough to do one batch. So you need a half a bushel of tomatoes, which is like 25 pounds, give or take, a little bit. A big box. 3-pound bag of onions, 2 bell peppers, a half a cup of salt, 2 cups of olive oil. I use avocado oil, 2 tablespoons of oregano, 2 tablespoons of sweet basil, 4 large cans of tomato paste, 1 whole garlic clove, and this does not have my sweetener on it. So I'm gonna have to go back in my notes to see how much sweetener, but I do know that it needs some sweetener, and I do use pure instead of actual sugar. It's a stevia blend, so you can do real sugar if you want. I'm pretty sure it's 1/4 of a cup. I'll write it underneath below. But so I have my funnel. I'm gonna hand wash all this stuff before I use it because it's just been stored. So I've got my funnel for my canning jars, and then this helps so I don't burn my hands trying to get it out of this. This is my mama's canner. It's pretty old. It is an actual canner, but I use it just to water bath in because that's all you have to do with tomatoes is water bath for an hour, I believe. And yeah, so I've got my peppers and onions over here ready to chop up. I'm going to be moving stuff around because I have this island, but it has my stove top in it, so I have no room, like no room ever. But I am blessed to have a nice kitchen, working kitchen. I'm thankful for it. I'm not complaining, okay? Don't think I'm complaining. I also have water in this it's coming to a boil. And what I have to do is you have to blanch your tomatoes. So here's my big thing of tomatoes. Here's one that's not probably gonna make it. But these are really good tomatoes from the farm. I'm going to lightly rinse them, and then I'm going to dunk them in here so that I can peel them easily. And I'll show you that process when we get to it. But right now we'll just set them here. I'll get a strainer over there and we'll start doing that when it's time. But for right now, I need to start cutting peppers and onions. And I can get everything else going. I got 2 drinks from Sonic, not just 1, 2. I can get everything else going in the pot, and then, you know, work on everything else later. The tomatoes. This has to cook for an hour once you get it going. So, if you want to go ahead and start, you know, that way I have somewhere to put all of my things that I chop up, because I don't have, really? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put 2 cups of oil in this pot. Come on. I think this is just going to end up being this whole thing. But anyways, I'm going to put the 2 cups of oil in here. That way when I get the onions, peppers, garlic chopped up, I can just add it to this pot and have it sauteing. Add my tomato paste, add my seasonings, add my sweetener, and I can have that all sitting here and then add the tomatoes. Bring it to a boil, turn it down to a simmer, and let it go for an hour. Oh, I'm going to have a little bit left. Just a little bit. That's okay. I done messed up my little hard. So I bought this really pretty recipe book, and these have page protectors, but I brought it over here without it because that's how I roll. So I'm just gonna start. Need 2 peppers, and like I said, I've got these have already been washed too, or I think you just watched me rinse them again, but I have washed them. Anyway, I have never added jalapeno, and this recipe that I got from my aunt, I'm not sure where she got it from. It does call for 2 jalapenos. So I have the jalapenos out because if you watched my grocery haul, you know that I got like a million. So I'm kind of going back and forth. My husband thinks that because this should make, you know, 9 or 10 whole jars of sauce, he's thinking that it's going to be fine. However, I have no idea really. I like jalapenos. So I don't feel like it'd be a bad idea, but we'll think on it for a second here. I'm making really weird faces trying not to cut my finger off. So I started making my own spaghetti sauce about 3 years ago, just because I was doing keto at the time, and back then, you know, they didn't have as many keto friendly or sugar free options like they have now. And you know, spaghetti sauce, the Rao's, which is still really expensive, I couldn't afford that for my whole big family. So my grandpa had like an abundance of tomatoes one year, and my aunt was like, you should make your own spaghetti sauce because it's really easy and you can substitute the, you know, sugar for a sugar substitute. And I did, and my whole family just fell in love with it. So that's what I've been doing. And even though I'm having to go buy tomatoes this year in a small way, it's worth it because my kids and my husband love it, and it's better for them. I know what's in this. I've canned it. Oh, my kitchen is clean. My jars are clean. My hands are clean. And I feel overall better doing it myself. So, I mean, yes, it's probably a little bit more expensive if you're having to buy your tomatoes. Everything else is pretty cheap. So you use your judgment, you know, use your judgment. And you guys can't even see what I'm cutting. So maybe you're not having a heart attack. But use your judgment. If this is something you want to do, then do it. It's not going to hurt anything. I hate cutting up garlic. Hate it. So yeah, I'm gonna chop up this garlic. I got the green peppers done. There was 2 green peppers, a whole head of garlic, and this whole bag of yummy onions. So let me work on that and not worry so much about talking to you guys that I don't love you. Okay, I have my onions, peppers, and garlic with my avocado oil in the big old pot. Go ahead and start sauteing that up real good. Then I've got this water going. It's got bubbles at the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and start dropping tomatoes. So you just put these in and they will start splitting, and that's when you can tell that they're ready to come out. So I'm going to get this big bowl and wash it, and when they start splitting, I will put them in the bowl and let them cool down so I can get the peels off, and then you have to puree up the tomatoes. So, there's our first batch. I'll take this and get another batch washed off. Ignore my dishes. And, okay, so I added 2 tablespoons of basil leaves. Just use the dried. 2 tablespoons of oregano. A cup of the pure. It actually calls for a cup and a half, but I'm not really wanting it a lot really sweet this time. I'm going to test it after I let it simmer. And then a half a cup of salt. And that is what it calls for on here. And so I've just got all this stuff going so far together. Oh, good. Ooh, it's getting foggy up. Sorry. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is, now that I got all this together, I'm going to turn that off, put a lid on top of it, and then I'm going to let it sit here while I do the tomatoes. So the tomatoes, they're going to take a minute in here. They're not wanting to focus. And I'm going to blanch all the tomatoes, get them in here, and then let them cool. So it's going to be a long process, guys. But it's worth it. It is worth it. So you bring it to a boil and reduce heat and simmer for 1 hour. After you peel and blend up the tomatoes and add it to the sauce. So it's really worth a try at first. I mean, I think you should really try it. And if you don't like it, then go buy your spaghetti sauce. But it's really a family favorite. Don't mind my 2 drinks, but yeah. So I'll show you guys when I get to the next step. I'm not gonna keep just talking your ear off. Here's a little bit of an update. I was just gonna show you what I mean by them splitting. Do you see this? That means they are good. So it's gonna vary on the size, but they'll all just eventually start splitting, and then we'll put another batch in here. I also did add 4 small cans of tomato paste in a large tube because for some reason I only had these small cans. I don't know why, but that is all I had. So you see this? Oh my goodness, I dropped it. And I've got my husband's, do you see this? It's gonna be perfect. And sometimes if you even just touch them, they just bust. So you need to be really careful. Get some long tongs for this. I use my husband grill tongs, and just get them all out. Just blanch them and get them out so you can take the skins off. Now I have heard if you are gardening and you only get a few tomatoes at a time, you can absolutely wash them up really good and put them in the freezer in freezer bags. And when you rinse them, when you go to can, once you have enough collected, the skins will just fall off. So you'll be able to skip this process entirely. But I did not do that because I bought these all at the same time. So this one, see, they just pop right apart. So I'm going to finish doing this, and we'll go on to the next step later. It'll be a little while. The children are fixing to bombard this place. Wes went to pick them up, but as you can see, I'm just taking the skins off. I've put them in the blender, and then you blend it up. You can be really specific about getting all the juice out, all of the seeds out. Kids are here. I do not do that, okay? You can do that if you want, but I'm not going to. So there's that part. Here it is. All the tomatoes are blended, added, and I did blend in 2 jalapenos without the seeds or anything. What do you think, Wes? I think you should try a little, just
a spoon
for the camera. Get a spoonula.
A spoonula?
Yeah. My kids are eating Wendy's because I'm making spaghetti sauce. I'm like the world's best mom, right? Moment of truth.
We got jalapeno in there too. That's good.
Are you lying? No, are you lying for the camera?
Try it.
Okay. All right. Let me try now.
What do you think?
It's not as sweet as the last
No,
batch.
it's not nearly
Okay,
as
so
sweet.
it's been simmering for an hour, and now I'm going to start putting it in the clean jars, and then in the water bath canner.
No, I mean,
You made me say camera. I'm gonna kill him. Okay, and then you put it in here for an hour. And then make sure they seal in the morning and you have spaghetti sauce. So I'm gonna get that in. If they don't seal, then you have to put them in the refrigerator and use them fast.
put them in the refrigerator.
Frigidaire. Somebody is wanting beat. So I didn't record putting these in, but I am taking them out. They have boiled for 15 minutes. I think I said an hour. I'm very distracted, friends. I'm so sorry. But here are my jars. I can hear them popping already. So, very excited. Did you hear it? I heard it. Oh, I hear them. It's awesome. I need to add a lot more water back to this pot. And do these. Alright guys, here's the finished product. It canned in the water bath for 15 minutes. I'm going to let it sit out on the counter overnight, check them in the morning, make sure they've all properly sealed, put them up. And I have 9.5 good jars for my family to have. I don't know if I'll be able to make any more than this year, but this will be a nice treat. I love to make lasagna with this. It's a little bit more on the sweeter side, even though I cut the sweetness down. I did end up adding a lemon to it, lemon juice, a whole lemon juice, and it helps it some. I really like it like this though, because when I make a lasagna, there's a lot of cheese and cottage cheese, and I usually, you know, add mushrooms and other things. So to me, I like a sweeter sauce. If you don't, probably leave it out. If you use real sugar, it may not even be as sweet. Sometimes the sugar substitutes, the monk fruit stevia ones, they can cause the sauce to be sweeter. I mean, they say that it usually makes things sweeter. You're supposed to do a different ratio is what I'm trying to say for real sugar, and when you're trying to substitute with a substitution. But anyways, beyond that, it's done, and that's how you do it. That's how I do it. If you try it, let me know down in the comments. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm sorry about any background noise, guys. I have kids. I got kids. Remember that wrestler? Name that wrestler below. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.